Is this a playbook? Is this a new way of dealing with the Strait of Hormuz choke point that External Affairs Minister Jaishankar has sort of given an example to the rest of the world that instead of militarizing the entire Strait of Hormuz, instead of gunboats, you talk about de-escalation, you talk about opening a direct line, and that's going to actually reap benefits. But then again, the ambassador says it's very delicate. We must remain cautious and not be too happy prematurely, which seems to be a pattern that we're following. What's your opinion on this?
No, absolutely. I think what Ambassador Goel basically pointed out, we do have a habit of prematurely, getting excited and celebrating victories. So we've got to be calibrated and we've got to be much careful about that. Yes, what we have demonstrated is adept diplomacy. We've used and exploited quiet channels. We've had candid conversations, and we have not indulged in escalation at all. So, which basically demonstrates that, while the world is basically requesting for warships and are basically sitting idle, India is just picking up the phone and just having candid conversations on the other side, and which is actually yielding results, which is why even when Dr. Jaishankar was basically talking about that the world must learn, he's actually telling the world that, prioritize your nation's interest first, rather than looking at, somebody else's interest.
No, that's a credible
And
point.
that is what
But
Indian
whilst
diplomacy.
we prioritize our national interests, what do you think is happening in the White House in Washington? I mean, we're trying to do the best for what we can in terms of strategic value of the India-Iran relationship. Like, take a look at the Chabahar Port, the long diplomatic history. What does this reveal about our understanding of the entire Gulf region? I mean, take a look at India's growing prowess and heft in the West Asian sector. But how do you think Donald Trump and his administration is looking at this?
So the one thing clear for Donald Trump's administration is that, geoeconomics and world relations, diplomatic relations do not work on binaries. That is something which India has proved. India is talking to the United States. We're dealing with Israel. We're having security exchanges. We have information sharing arrangements with both the countries. We are buying crude from Russia, and we are dealing with China, and we are dealing with Iran and the rest of the GCC countries. So basically, it's nation's interest first. The quid pro quid happens with every country. You give and take a little bit. The carrot and stick game will continue to play out. India is diversifying its LNG and LPG sources. I believe that Australia and Canada have already reached out and offered India some terms. The only downside with those terms is that it takes a lot of time for those shipments to basically reach India. So the downturn time, which would previously be anywhere typically between 3 to 7 days, is now going to be anywhere between 21 to 27 days. So that is the kind of measures that we have to look at
Yep.
mitigating. But I think internally, India has already decided to go on. There is a clear indication that the ministry has provided to various of the suppliers also to maximize its output. Cut down industry needs and prioritize household needs at this point.
Yep.
So, the calibrated position of the government seems to be yielding some results. I think what we need to ensure is the checks and balances are put in place to ensure that we do not get into any sort of a panic driven situation. I think some of your journalists were covering as of yesterday, where people had been waiting for hours for cylinders and those kind of things. So those
That's right.
supply choke points need to be ensured that are completely freed up, and people are not profiteering out
Right,
of
right.
this wartime.